So when you came in, you were in high school at that point.
I left Vietnam, I was in 6th grade, right? I came here, I know a little bit of English from those class, because it wasn't later into the later months that I was in the minor camp. That's when we study a little bit of English, but barely. So I barely spoke any English by the time I came here. And when I got here, I was 15 years old. I got here May of 1991. So the summer school had already come to an end.
Yes.
So my uncle went to enroll me in summer school so I can take ESL class, English as a second language. I remember that. And there was ESL A, ESL B, and ESL C. Now I passed the A and I at least know how to count and say some word like "How are you?"
Some of the basics, yes.
So I get to go to ESL B, which when I go in, I had no idea. I mean, it was hard. It was like I should have stayed in A. So I took ESL that summer, but I love studying, so I studied really hard. By that summer, I got from B to C, and then because I was 15, he put me in 9th grade. So imagine I'd left Vietnam, barely starting 6th grade.
Yes,
in Vietnamese. I came here, I barely speak English, and he put me in 9th grade
because you had to be with kids your age.
It was very, very hard.
I can imagine.
But you know, by the grace of God, it's just hardworking. My dad told me, if your classmate speak English well and they study, you know, they spend 30 minutes to read something and study it. If you don't speak as much English, you spend 2 hours. You can still study the same thing. And that's what I did. I just studied double, triply, quadruply harder than the rest of my, I just spent a lot of time looking up word, writing it out in pencil, and I was able to make it through, yeah.
That's amazing. What school was this?
It was Elsick High School in Southwest Houston, yeah.
Wow.
So there, I studied there.
And that's where you went to high school for the 4 years. So you started there as a freshman, not knowing much English at all.
Yeah. Oh, I remember reading Romeo and Juliet. It took me 3 hours to read one page.
I can so relate to you because when my dad moved our family to the Philippines after he retired, I had just that opposite experience learning Filipino, and we had to read the national novel in Filipino, and just like you, spending hours, so much more time than your classmates studying it, looking up almost every single word in the dictionary for the translation so you could understand.
Yeah.
That must have been really tough. After everything you've been through, you're finally safe and sound, but you still have this mountain to climb.
Oh yeah. I remember I was depressed. First, I didn't know the culture.
Yes.
So it was very difficult to relate. I made a decision. In Elsick High School, it was very diverse school.
Yes.
And there was also a lot of Vietnamese. I made a decision to myself that I would not hang out with the Vietnamese.
Wow.
Because I want to force myself to speak English.
Wow, that's tough.
I know. So I didn't speak Vietnamese. So the Vietnamese think like, oh, he's kind of stuck up. He doesn't want to hang out with us. He thinks he knows. So that was kind of sad. But that's not my intention. On the other hand, when I hang out with the English people, it's like, this guy doesn't speak English.
Why is he hanging out with us? Yeah.
So I was very lost. I felt out of place. I don't feel belong.
Wow.
I was very lost. I felt
you're like an outsider.
Myself, yeah. Both with the Vietnamese and with the English. But I was determined to not hang out with the Vietnamese. And with my peer who speak English, I think it affected my self-esteem. I felt self-esteem a lot. I felt like I'm not able to talk like them, to have friendship like them, because they speak and they understood each other.
Yes.
And I'm not able to write and talk like them. I don't know the culture. I'm not able to dress like them. When I came here, I still dress. They call it fresh off the boat.
Yes.
I still have those old T-shirt from the camp and
wow.
Old shoes and things like that. And I I don't look anything like them.
Uh-huh.
I don't have nice shoes or shirts and jean and things like that. And so I don't look like them. I don't talk like. It was tough. I was depressed.
I can imagine. That was a really tough decision for you to make, to only hang out with people that spoke English. Because, I mean, I hung out with people that spoke. I went the easier way than you. I hung out with people that spoke, the language I spoke. It made it harder for me in the long run.
Yeah.
But for you to consciously go out of your way to speak with people who didn't speak your language just so you could integrate, that made it harder, huh?
Yeah, I was kind of aggressive, but it was tough. But I was so depressed thinking back about it.
How long did that last, that adjustment period? Did it last throughout your whole high school life?
I feel very blessed because I think after 1 year, I began to have conversational. I would starting to get better with conversational.
Uh-huh.
Now, reading and writing was still difficult. I always make the best grade in my math class.
Uh-huh.
Those are my favorite classes. But English literature, history, and all of that, all the ones that require a lot of reading, I do bad. I do all right. But in Vietnam, I learned a little bit to play the violin, so I joined the orchestra. So I stay after school, and that helps a lot because the extracurricular activities at school, it allowed me to go on field trip with these people, and I get to speak English with them.
And you
so
can
I
bond.
a lot.
Yeah.
So I remember by the time I was in junior in high school, 2 years later, I started to feel comfortable and really start to have friends and was doing pretty good.